Let's make a function that accepts any number of positional arguments. So we've got a function here called greet. It accepts a single argument called name. So I can pass that argument in positionally or as a keyword argument saying name equals. I'd like to make this function accept multiple names, but not just two names, any number of them. So we can see here we get an error when we pass in two names. I want to be able to pass in 2 or 3 or any number of names. So to get this to work, we're going to have to replace name with star names. Star names is going to say to Python that we want to capture any positional arguments given to this function into a tuple, and the names variable is going to point to that tuple. So I can say for name and names, looping over that tuple, printing out each name individually. So now when I call greet, the same way as before, I call it with just my name. It works the same way as before, prints out hello tray. But if I call it with multiple names, it's going to call hello, or print out hello Trey, hello Joe, hello Ian. However many names I give it, it will greet each of those people. And in fact, if I give it no names, it doesn't give me an error. It just does nothing because this loop up here is looping over an empty tuple. So it's not an error to give no arguments when you're using star. So a number of functions built into Python actually do this. For example, the zip function, it says star iterable, meaning it accepts any number of iterables and it's going to loop over all of those iterables at the same time. The min function and the max function, they accept any number of positional arguments you can give to them. You can actually see arg1, arg2 is before star args. That's possible to do when you're defining functions like this. You can put other positional arguments before all the remaining positional arguments that you're capturing. And the print function. The print function is a really common one to pass multiple arguments to. This value ... here, there's no star involved, but you can see in the documentation it's kind of trying to let us know that it accepts any number of values. The documentation is just a little bit different with print. It doesn't actually show that star in here. And print, as you can see, you can give any number of arguments to it. It will print all of them out, anything you give to it. So to make a function that accepts any number of arguments, you can use a star and then some variable name. And that's going to let Python know that when that function is called with any positional arguments, those should be captured into a tuple that that variable name points to. So use an asterisk if you'd like to make a function that accepts any number of positional arguments.